How are you feeling?
Better. Thanks to Taya.
I'm glad to hear it.
And Torgal helped too. The new boy.
This used to be a trade route for merchants crossing the Scars. Till the Republic laid a new road wide enough to let wagons pass. All official traffic moved there.
Leaving this one for those living outside the law.
Indeed. I doubt we'll be the only outlaws on the trail today. Run like the wind!
So what do you think?
Really? It's as bad as that?
Oh, aye. There's trouble up ahead. And too much of it for us to handle.
I take it there's danger on the road.
What about this fearsome-looking fellow? You think he'd be equal to the task?
Oh, no doubt. Assuming he's willing to hear us out. Well met, friend. My brother and I have been tasked with finding a merchant's missing cart. You seen it by any chance?
How does a merchant misplace his cart?
Oh, the man's a coward. When he thought goblins might come a-snarling, he ran, leaving his livelihood abandoned in the pass.
He sent the two of us to fetch it, but it's gone. Now, I'm not much of a thinker. I know the work of thieves when I see it.
My brother's right on all accounts. And by my estimation, the bastards are lying in wait.
This is an official Pro controller for the PlayStation 5 that you might not have heard of. It's called the Victrix Pro BFG, and it comes with adjustable trigger stops. You can get those instant kills in Call of Duty. Mappable rear buttons, so you can jump and reload without ever needing to leave the thumbsticks. And a crazy modular design that lets you swap, rotate, and change the layout of the controller. There's even a fight pad module that lets you play games like Tekken and Street Fighter the way they were intended to be played. It also comes with a 2.9 meter braided USB-C charging cable, replaceable thumbsticks, and a hard shell carry case to store it all away. So do you think you'd use one of these? This is an official Pro controller.
The Taylor Farms Everything salad is amazing.
It's so good.
Well, if I'm going to have to deal with them anyway.
And doing full body resistance training work. Although that is popular right now, and I absolutely 100% stand behind copious amounts of resistance training for various metabolic reasons, directly reducing a potbelly as in the sense of your visceral fat. Not your belly fat, but your visceral fat. The fat that is underneath the subcutaneous fat in the abdominal cavity, in the peritoneal space, surrounding all the organs. Okay? It can protrude and give you a potbelly. It could protrude and distort the image of how much regular belly fat you have, making it look like you have more just because you're distended. But the bottom line is the research does not really back up resistance training for reducing visceral fat. Now again, I will say, resistance training is important for glucose management, for muscle mass, for overall metabolic rate, all of that. But when you look at this study that was published in Obesity Reviews that took a look at 35 peer-reviewed papers, it's pretty eye-opening. After today's video, check out House of Macadamias. So if you like macadamia nuts, if you like better-for-you options that you want to be able to have on the road, macadamia nut bars that are actually made with real macadamia nuts, sugar-free chocolate-covered macadamia nuts, macadamia nut oil, you name it, check out House of Macadamia. So that link down below saves you 20% off whatever you want from them. So you're seeing these guys everywhere now. They're popping up in convenience stores because they're changing the game. They're moving away from just having peanuts on the shelves at grocery stores and convenience stores and making a movement to have something that truly has some research behind it, like macadamia nuts. So again, harvested in South Africa, packaged less than an hour's drive from there. We're talking the bee's knees when it comes down to supreme macadamia products. So that link saves you 20% off, plus you get a free bottle of macadamia nut oil with any purchase using that link down below. You're not going to find a deal like that anywhere, so check them out down below. So this study published in Obesity Reviews, 35 papers, and they found that resistance training did not impact the level of visceral fat. Now, we have to remember that visceral fat is what is associated with inflammatory markers. Okay, there was another study that took a look at visceral fat in general. The more visceral fat, the more white blood cells, the more C-reactive.
Is what?
These must be our bandits.
Oh, okay. What did she do? Oh, okay, that's what's up.
Active protein, the more overall inflammatory response. That has a huge impact on the rest of your metabolic function, your glucose metabolism, your insulin levels, your ability to bring insulin levels back down, you name it. But what they did find was that aerobic exercise had an interesting effect. Now, before you turn off this video thinking, okay, I got the answer, it's just cardio, no, we gotta break it down a little bit more. So yes, aerobic exercise had a moderate effect on reducing visceral fat. Okay, then there were 9 of these studies they looked at specifically that combined resistance training and aerobic exercise, and they found that there was no difference even when aerobic exercise and cardio were done together. Not necessarily together in the same workout, but done together. So resistance training added no additional benefit. So you're probably hating me right now. I mean, Thomas is such a hypocrite. Look at him. He's heavily muscled. He works out clearly. He's telling us not to resistance train. That is not what I'm saying. But we have to look at more data because I don't want you to just slave away on a treadmill. That doesn't sound fun. That's not how I would want anyone to spend their life. So we look at a study published in the journal Physiology, and it found that shorter, higher intensity bouts of cardio were even more effective at reducing visceral fat. But let's understand the why, because then it allows you to get more out of it. Okay? Well, the simple reason is doing something like a high-intensity interval training is going to be very effective because it's highly concentrated and you're going to have more calorie burn. Plain and simple. Okay, and I'll break down a protocol for you to do at the end of this video. You can skip ahead to it if you want. You should probably learn the details. Okay, the other side is when you have these extreme bouts of short but high intense cardio, you have increases in human growth hormone that are quite high in the short term. This can increase what's called hormone-sensitive lipase, which increases lipolysis. Okay, so it seems to have a pretty profound effect on fat loss, which is another reason why so many people are big fans of high-intensity interval training. Now, it gets deeper than that. In our visceral fat, we have more what are called glucocorticoid receptors, which means when it comes down to storage and burning, they are influenced heavily by cortisol. So lots of cortisol along with lots of food could equal more visceral fat storage. Lots of cortisol along with lots of energy output could mean less storage and more burning of visceral fat. So doing high-intensity bouts of interval training might allow you to get the best of both worlds. Do your resistance training and then have time to do short amounts of cardio. Let's talk about how to properly do it. High-intensity cardio does not need to be going out for 20 minutes and running at 80% of your max heart rate. That sounds horrible, and it is. I've done it. But more so what we're talking about is taking maybe 30 seconds or so of high intensity and doing a break for as long as it takes to recover. Now, I've talked about this so I'll lose the face in other videos. But the idea behind high-intensity interval training is to give yourself adequate time between your intervals of sprinting or whatever cardio you do. So if I'm on a track, I might sprint 100 yards, take 20 seconds to do it, then faster than that, 15 seconds to do it. And then I'll walk for about a minute. So I'm fully recovering. And then I'll go 30 seconds, and I'll walk for about a minute. I say about a minute because sometimes it takes me longer, sometimes it takes me less, but I walk until I'm recovered. The idea is you want the hard work, not the entire workout. Sprint, full recovery. Sprint, full recovery. And I don't care if it takes you 3 minutes. You want to recover all the way so that you're getting the right demand. So we need to treat it like resistance training in how we do our cardio, but we need to still have it be cardio. Now, traditional aerobic work does influence your visceral fat as well. And I think that has a place too. And in that case, I'm a big fan of like zone 2, zone 3. So going for a walk or a slow jog or hitting the bike 2 or 3 days per week in that zone 2, zone 3 range where you're at maybe 60% or so of your maximum heart rate, that is a perfect sweet spot for general caloric burn, cardiovascular health, and visceral fat loss. But the deep concentration of benefit is going to come from the HIIT. So then when it comes down to the resistance training is going to help you out as far as being able to use the fuel better. Okay, so the resistance training helps the muscle suck up the glucose. It helps the muscle use the fuel better. So this is going to directly impact your accumulation of visceral fat, because if you don't use the muscle, then the glucose can stay elevated, insulin levels can stay elevated, and that can lead to more fat accumulation, not just in the visceral fat area, but in the overall just body, right? So the resistance training is still very important, but it's not going to reduce the visceral fat. What we have to remember is that resistance training doesn't burn a ton of calories. Cardio tends to burn more calories. Resistance training just has a longer effect that over the course of your lifetime is certainly influencing calories better than cardio. So do 2 to 5 days per week of full body resistance training, 2 to 3 days per week of just easy cardio for 15 to 30 minutes or more, and then 2 to 3 days per week on the days you also do your resistance training, do your high intensity interval training work for about 15 to 20 minutes. As always, see you tomorrow.
I would take you guys swimming, but we don't have our swimsuits.
Save on top brand swimwear at Sierra.
I also have concerns about the hygiene level of the pool.
It's really soap at Sierra.
Thank you.
Let's get moving.
We had a lot of story packs.
Amazing. He's talking about motorcycle insurance. People love it.
You deserve to save. I deserve to save.
I mean, he has a way of making you feel seen.
Get savings and expert coverage with Geico Motorcycle.
Encouraged me to read as much as I could.
These are my rules for building muscle. These are my rules, and there are many like them, but these ones are mine. Does that mean that they're exactly what everyone should do? No. These are what worked for me. Are they 100% backed up with loads and loads of evidence-based research? Actually, most of them are, because that's typically how I live. But there's some that are purely anecdotal with a little bit of flair of some evidence-based research to reinforce them. Bottom line is, this is what I do, and the research to back it up.
Number one, stimulation above all else. What does that mean? When it comes down to building muscle, we put the cart before the horse. We put the nutrition before the exercise way too often. Why? Because there's so much there to talk about, there's content for days. When in reality, I would argue that about 75% of the dose to ultimately build muscle is in the stimulus, the training itself. Without the training, the protein doesn't matter. Without the training, the carbs don't matter. Without the training, the caloric surplus doesn't matter. Stimulating the muscle is what deems the muscle relevant. So whether it's for growth or like where I am now, which is just maintenance, I can get away with a lot of a caloric deficit because I am always stimulating my muscle. I don't hardly ever miss a workout. And if I do, I find a way to keep the stimulus on the muscle either way. Number two, protein at all costs. And I know I sound like a broken record, it's something you've heard a million times, but let's get real here for just a second. Protein, even if you're in a caloric deficit, can potentially allow you to build muscle. That's kind of wild, right? You can even be in a deficit and at least maintain as long as protein needs are met. The jury is still out if you can actually have true solid hypertrophy or growth in a deficit or not. It's still kind of out there. The bottom line is, don't worry about how much protein you get in one sitting. Don't say, oh man, I can only absorb 30 or 35 grams in one sitting. No, that's nonsense. There's someone by the name of Don Layman. He's really done a lot of work in this world, and he's like Lane Norton's PhD advisor. He's an advisor to Dr. Gabby Lyon, like really solid guy when it comes down to protein. He has made it pretty solid that we can really handle a lot more protein in one sitting than what people think. Now, what we need to understand is that no matter what, whether you're eating 20 grams...
Oh, that is right! Godzilla is finally back, this time from Toho!
All shall bow before their emperor.
Father, these are the words of a tyrant.
Talk about friends. Do we put too much pressure on our friends? That is
the emperor whom I gladly serve. Great Greeker, made flesh. Return to your camp, Dion, and ready your forces. It is time to show the world the true power of Sanbreak.
Father, I find you much changed. Is this truly the path you wish to tread? Or are these the ambitions of another?
Hey Google,
Of ultimate
what's the weather right now?
It's 77 and partly cloudy. Tonight, the forecast is around 74 degrees and partly cloudy.
And my mind only. Though I do owe Annabella thanks for reminding me of certain truths regarding the nature of nations, of rulers, and of the divine.
You would trust the words of this traitress. She betrayed her country. She slew her husband.
You have ever been an invaluable servant to Sanbreck, Prince Dion. I trust you will continue to serve your emperor in the wars to come.
The canker! Silence! Insolent wretch! You will bend their knee. All else is heresy.
Sire, forgive me.
This audience is over. Come, your radiance. The Rowena Syndicate awaits your pleasure.
Oh, not another meeting with silly old men. They're so boring. I'm hungry, Father. Can't we have luncheon instead?
Does it pain you that you will not inherit your father's throne?
I have suffered worse.
Count your blessings, Dion. For a base-born child to be chosen by Bahamut is miracle enough. You have risen high on his wings, but you shall rise no higher, lest your impure blood stain the throne.
What do you know of my blood?
Put your shoes on.
The Boklab markets are to the north. We just need to hug the coast. Ready, go? Faster! Safe. Come on.
Infiltrating the Dominion won't be easy with the Imperials on high alert.
No. His Radiance has lost one capital already. We can be sure Sylvester will do everything in his power to hold on to Twinside. His troops are well-trained and increasingly battle-hardened. But it's not as if we can wait for the siege to end.
They've closed the road to Randalar.
If the siege breaks, they'll need more than this to stop the Imperial legions marching on the capital.
Oh, I'm done for.
If you haven't got a pass, you're not getting...
Let's roll, Dad.
Alright, your auntie, bye. Alexa, turn the TV off.
Okay.
many times you go poop today?
I only put one time.
Today?
Yeah. When we was at the restaurant, when I pooped.
You poop in the outside? Not like
No, at that restaurant.
No, I know, but like you like put in public bathrooms?
No, I didn't. Oh, like yeah, if I gotta go.
Yeah. I'd never do that. Only if I really had to go.
Yeah, one time I had you go and you
Thank you.